I think this is going to have to be a learning for Max, that you can't just control the racetrack in the way that he wants to.
Well, there's an update. He didn't learn. Hello everyone, I'm James and welcome back to another video. It's been a long time since I've been on this channel, but I'm going to try and make some videos as often as possible for you, which is going to be difficult with everything I've got going on at the moment, but with such a controversial Italian Grand Prix happening yesterday, I thought what better to do a video on it. And if we address the elephant in the room, Hamilton and Verstappen's crash. So what I'm planning on doing in this video is we're going to go through the Stewards Notes, which I have in front of them, and we're going to see why they gave Verstappen a penalty. So the stewards say that Hamilton was exiting the pits, Verstappen was on the main straight. At the 50-metre board before turn 1, Hamilton was significantly ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen braked late and started to move alongside Hamilton, although at no point in the sequence does Verstappen get any further forward than just behind the front wheel of Hamilton's car. So Max is never ahead in this incident. During the hearing, Verstappen asserted that the cause of the incident was that Hamilton opened the steering after turn 1 and squeezed him to the apex of turn 2. Hamilton asserted that Verstappen attempted to pass very late and should have given up the corner either by backing off sooner or turning left behind the curb. The stewards observed on CCTV footage that the driver of car 44, so Hamilton, was driving an avoiding line. So Hamilton was already getting out of the way of Verstappen for turn 1, and although his position caused Verstappen to go onto the curb. But further, the stewards observed that Verstappen was not at all alongside Hamilton until significantly into the entry of turn 1. In the opinion of the stewards, this manoeuvre was attempted too late for the driver of car 33, so Verstappen, to have right to racing room. That is key. So they think the stewards think that Verstappen moved basically too late around the outside and then would not then be able to tuck in for turn 2 realistically without causing an accident. And that's why they've given him a penalty. He didn't have the right to racing room because he was so far back at the start of turn 1. While Hamilton could have steered further from the curb to avoid the incident, the stewards determined that his position was reasonable and therefore find that Verstappen was predominantly to blame for the incident. So that is what the stewards have to say. And if you think about their reasoning, it seems quite logical. What they've said is that Hamilton was always ahead, which is fact. Hamilton was always ahead. At the start of turn 1, Hamilton was always ahead. If we look at some pictures of their onboards, Hamilton is turning left into turn 2 as Verstappen's front wing just appears. And Verstappen would have had to turn left at an even tighter angle and slow himself down even more. And as I said on my Silverstone vlog, which I started this video with after the Silverstone incident, which Hamilton was penalised for. There was probably the right reasoning for that. I thought it was a racing incident, but the stewards thought otherwise with logical reasoning. Here, the stewards have thought that Verstappen was predominantly at fault. Not totally at fault, but predominantly at fault. And so what they're doing is logical. And I think they've gone through all the processes, they've seen all of the onboards, and they've come to this decision. And as I said, Max has got to be aware that, like in Spain and in Imola and at turn 4 very early on in this race, Hamilton backed out. He has avoided contact. This is maturity of a 7-time champion. The 2 times Hamilton has refused to back down to Verstappen owning the racetrack, whether he's ahead or not, we've had accidents. Was it a tactical foul like Toto Wolff said? No, I don't think it was that far. But was it silly driving? Yes. Was it overly aggressive driving? Yes. And does it warrant a penalty? Probably. Is 3-place grid penalty too harsh? Probably not. The teams themselves have said that this equates to about a 10-second time penalty. And a 5-place grid penalty equates to about a drive-through penalty. On the racetrack, if Max had been able to continue, it probably would have been a 10-second time penalty. So it's fair. They've given their reasoning. You might not agree with it, but at least you've got to understand it. And he's got to learn this maturity. I said it back in July. He hasn't learnt. We're on the 13th of September now, and he hasn't learnt. So those are just my brief thoughts, but obviously the main things: 1, Hamilton is safe, because that was scary. And 2 is that we've got a championship fight that has just gone up another notch. and it's going to be fantastic. So those are just my thoughts, and obviously as a McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo fan especially, first 1-2 of the season for any team going to McLaren, you could not write it. But that has been this video. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry I've been away for so long, but I've been very busy. I'm going to try and get back to making some videos. Maybe tell me what you think of this kind of talking style video with some pictures involved as well, and I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.